So welcome to this week's PTC Talks, where we are honored by having Manan and Carol at AroMigrator Technologies for a session on mastering ALM data migration. But first, a very quick introduction about me. My name is Torbjörn Peterson, and I'm the Alliance Manager for PTC, leading these webinars where we invite customers and partners for some inspiration on digital transformation to see what is possible and how to make things happen. And we are running all these webinars on Fridays, 3 times a month, same time, where we also have topics around either manufacturing, services, or engineering. And we are recording all the sessions and have all the past sessions already found on the registration site. The agenda for today is first a quick overview of PTC by me, and then Manan and Carol will run the show, where they will also touch base on a few challenges, how to address these, and then also explain some of the business outcomes. And at the end, we are having a Q&A session, so please keep your questions to the end. You may put them in the chat, and we could also pick them up during the Q&A. Next slide there. So just a very short overview about PTC for those who are new to the session. So PTC is a global software company with a headquarters in Boston, and we provide market-leading solutions on IoT, AR, PLM, CAD, SLM, and ALM through the digital thread to help customers to accelerate their digital transformation. So over to you guys. Carol.
Thank you very much for the introduction. So start. So welcome everyone to today's PTC talk, and my name is Manan Arora, and I'm the founder and CEO of AroMigrator Technologies. Along with my colleague Carol, today we will be talking about mastering ALM data migration. And today's topic is very relevant for anyone who is looking for moving from a legacy ALM system to a modern and more integrated ALM system like Codebeamer. And the most exciting part about today's session is that this will not just be a theory session. We will be demonstrating the migration in action. So from Windchill RVNS, whosoever who knows that, previously called PTC Integrity, to Codebeamer. Okay, so those of you who don't know about AroMigrator, I would like to start with a short overview about us. With headquarters in Frankfurt, Germany, we are located in 5 countries. And we have a very strong partnership with PTC for ALM, for PLM, as well as SLM. And recently, we also became the strategic ALM partner for Calypso Rockwell Company, specifically for Codebeamer. Okay, so moving on to the next one. So at AroMigrator Technologies, we provide consulting and implementation services for ALM, PLM, and SLM. But today, I will be focusing, or we will be providing an overview of our ALM services. So let's do the ALM services. So ALM is one of our major competencies, and I myself come from a background of ALM and PLM, especially focused on PTC products. Yes, and we have been involved in various large, complex end-to-end ALM implementation projects with some of the large automotive and medtech companies, even including some of the Fortune 500 companies. From our experience with different ALM projects, we have developed, as you can see here, various add-ons. And from the past 3 years, we have been working on some standalone products. Like you see here in blue arrow trace at the bottom in solutions. This is a product for the digital product traceability between ALM, PLM, and SLM. And then we have another product called AroMigrator. And AroMigrator is basically for the migration between ALM systems. We will get to know today more about AroMigrator in the coming slides, and we will see that also in action. Okay, so every customer migration is unique, right? So planning and preparing migration journey, according to me, is a very important step. So what we'll be going to do is we'll go through some of the key steps that we follow at AroMigrator while working on migration projects. Okay. So step number 1, before starting any migration, the first question to ask yourself is why I am doing this migration. Depending on your role in the organization, that answer to that question could vary. And we have here few criterias that could be triggered, or that could be the trigger for the migration to a new advanced system, like in this case, Codebeamer. And these features, for example, starting with the first one, what advanced ALM features do I need? Like, do I need end-to-end traceability? Do I need advanced reporting? Or is more performance and scalability important for my organization? Or do I need an integrated solution to reduce the cost and maintenance of multiple standalone tools? Or the last one, am I ready for the technological advancements and changes that are happening in the world? And if I get the competitive advantage out of it, so which is the future proofing. So basically, these are the questions that one need to ask: if and why should I move to a new ALM system? Okay. So once we have decided that, hey, we have the need, we want to migrate to a new ALM system, then depending on your company's current situation and based on the challenges you may have, for example, there's a high volume of data involved, which you have been using in your previous systems. There's the system downtime is critical for you, the data integrity, or maybe you need to migrate the history for audit and compliance purposes. So these are some of the challenges. Based on that, you need to decide one of the following approaches from here. So we have, as you can see there, we have 4 approaches. The first one being the dual use. So that means keeping both the systems working in parallel. Okay. Second is the ongoing project. That means migration of only current ongoing projects, and closed projects remain in the legacy tools for history purposes. So basically, you still have 2 systems. One for the history purposes, where you have your older projects, and your current projects and the new projects will be directly created in the new system. And the third migration is we call it a smooth transition. That means as such, you don't need a huge amount, or don't need a complicated migration. As we use the legacy system for whatever you have right now in the system, all the projects, and you finish those projects, and the new projects start in the new system. So basically, you have your new system. You say, hey, I'm not migrating anything. I'll be just moving anything now starting onwards in my new system. And then the fourth one is the full data migration, which is including the history and all the things that you had in your previous legacy ALM system. And after that, the legacy tool will be discontinued. So basically, you will only have your new ALM tool running. Okay, so and this is the second step. And once we have decided which migration approach you will be, or you want to go with, or suits your needs, the next step is to plan and prepare the migration. So planning and preparing the migration involves evaluation of your current system, evaluation of your current landscape to understand what complexities and what dependencies I have in my current landscape, right? So from transitioning from one ALM system to a new one is a great opportunity to evaluate and refine your current setup. So if you are planning, for example, to migrate for any legacy system to Codebeamer, it makes sense that you know what Codebeamer has to offer and how you can take advantage of that, rather than just doing it the same way you were doing before in the old system. So this is also an opportunity to clean up things, to prepare yourself for the advanced feature that the new advanced ALM tool is offering. And normally at Arorian, we recommend having a pilot program. As you can see at the last setting up a pilot program. This is to run a small scale pilot migration project, or you can call it a POC, proof of concept, to validate the processes and the tools that are involved in the migration. So it has worked out pretty well for our customers till now. So we really recommend setting up a pilot program while planning a migration. So moving on to the last and the next and the last step. So while executing the pilot migration, or you can call it maybe migration rehearsals, one thing we need to make sure is that we take our most critical data first. This is one of our best practices that we apply at our customers. normally the customers try to do the migration of the simplest data first, and then they plan the whole migration accordingly because they said, hey, that would be pretty easy, so let's do that, which always ends up extending the project deadline and impacts the quality of the project because there was not enough time to test that critical data. Okay, so it's very important to always start with the critical data first. That's the major need of the business. So now that we have went through the 4 steps of customer migration journey, we'll look at specifically to Codebeamer, like migration to Codebeamer. So while migrating from any legacy ALM system to Codebeamer, there are multiple ways to achieve the data migration. And some of those methods are sometimes not enough. For example, if you are considering history migration, or you have a lot of relationships or traces, or your migration is involving huge amount of data where data integrity is most important to you. So that's where basically our tool AroMigrator comes into picture, which is here right now, a question mark. So we will be introducing AroMigrator shortly so that you have an overview how we can overcome all the challenges which I mentioned previously. So for achieving a seamless transition to Codebeamer and automate your Codebeamer or migration process, may it be from Windchill RVNS or IBM DOORS NG or any other legacy system, you should definitely consider looking into AroMigrator. It is an all-in-one tool taking care of data migrations, transformations, and scalability. So just to give you an overview or the few key features that sets AroMigrator apart, so these features were developed keeping in mind the customer needs and the feedback basically. So like incremental migration, history migration, and we have detailed reporting. And the last thing that we have is the adapters to extend AroMigrator easily for various use cases. So basically, while doing a couple of POCs, what we have realized that we put into the tool itself to make it adapt to the customer needs and the feedback. Okay. So after this, I would like to, so we had enough theory, so I would like to ask Carol to maybe take over and give a technical aspect to it, and then maybe show us in action how AroMigrator looks like. Okay, over to you, Carol.
Yeah. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Karol Nowicki, and I'm going to provide you more technical point of view on our tool. As Manan previously said, the architecture of the tool is modular, so we can create kind of connectors to various legacy tools and use them to get the source data. And it doesn't matter from which connector we are getting the data. We can reuse the same existing connector to Codebeamer as a destination point to push the data we got from the source system. You can see it on the right side of the slide. This is a big advantage because we don't need to implement the whole migration process for the new tool if we need that, and it saves a lot of effort. This is, for example, what we did for one of our customers with DOORS NG migration. Because we firstly started with Windchill RVNS, but now we have few connectors. Okay, in the middle we can see the process of how we are doing the migration. Before starting the migration, we are able to preview the source data in AroMigrator just to validate the correctness of it. We can also cleanse the data and audit it using built-in dashboards and reports. Once we agree that the data is ready to be migrated, we need to do the configuration. What is needed is connection to Codebeamer. Then we need to do mappings for the data. And if needed, we need to specify the transformation rules. And after that, we are good to start the migration process. I'm going to show you how the tool looks in action and how it works. The example would be a migration from Winter RVNS to Codebeamer. And firstly, I will show the data in source system in Winter RVNS. Then we will switch to AroMigrator to show the predefined mappings. Then we'll execute the migration and compare the source and migrated data in RVNS and in Codebeamer. All right, so firstly, we see the Winter RVNS. We see a requirement document with its requirements and some attributes we are going to migrate with rich formatting. To start the migration, I'm going to AroMigrator. Here we have a simple definition of migration process. Firstly, we start with specification of source and target systems. In this case, RVNS and Codebeamer, as I mentioned. Then we go to first step of mapping, and this is types mapping. Here you can see that we are migrating three types, requirements, requirement documents, and also tasks. And here you can also select the checkboxes to specify if we want to migrate history or not. After that, in very similar way, we can specify which attributes we are going to migrate and also corresponding mapped attributes from Codebeamer. For the big fields, we can also specify mapping of the values. And here is the example of simple mapping transformation that we map critical priority to urgent priority in Codebeamer. For each previously selected types, we need to specify separate mappings of attributes. And as a last step of mapping, we need to specify relationships between them. Okay, and to execute the migration process, we just need to simple start migration, click migration button. Here we can see the preview of how many items we will migrate. And there is a switch button to decide if we want to make an iterative migration for the second or third or further time, or in this case, we don't need to select that because we are going to migrate it for the first time. We can see that data migration is started successfully. And in the meantime, while the migration is ongoing, we will preview the details, one of items we're going to migrate. Here we can see that there are some related objects like contained by document and also tasks. We have also attachments. In this case, it's an image and PDF file. And there is quite a big history, modification history. And let's have a look on the data in Codebeamer, how it looks after the migration. After we refresh, we should see some of the requirements. Yeah, this is how it looks in Codebeamer after migration. On the right side, we can also see RVNS attributes with RVNS prefix. And to see the details of one of these requirements, from top to bottom, we can see the attributes again. We see the whole history table. And here we can preview upstream reference to the document, downstream reference to task, and also attachments, which I showed also in RVNS. Okay, and that's it for the demo. Over back to you, Manon.
Thank you, Carol, for the amazing demo. And just try to share my screen quickly. So I think as you guys saw that with AroMigrator, we were able to do the migration in an automated way. And also we were able to do the images migration, the rich text migration, as well as the attachments. And we can do much more. So basically for this demo, we just focus ourselves on those major things, I would say. And now I would just like to give you an overview now that you have seen the demo. So this is one of the POC that we worked on, and RVNS we just saw. And the same way we can also do from Doors NG to Codebeamer. And here we are talking about around 30 million items that for what we had to do a POC, or we did a POC. And the approach we used for that was an incremental migration approach. So basically, or the plan for is to have a project-based migration. And that was from Doors NG to RVNS, the same way like Carol showed from RVNS. And to the next part, so this, I just wanted to take time, and introduce and appreciate the team behind AroMigrator for their continued efforts and all the support they have being provided, or they are providing to the customers with their migration challenges. So as you can see, this is not a add-on or a utility. It's a standalone tool which took us a lot of time, pain, and challenges to solve all these issues. And this is the team behind that. So for the next, so from here, I think basically after seeing all those things there, I would like to go to what's next. So basically what we recommend as well. So there are two options. You see, the point number one is if you are looking for a migration to Codebeamer, or already are into that planning, or already into that phase, and you want an evaluation, feel free to reach out to us about migration strategy, or just want to have a discussion if what ways you are doing and how it should be, or how we solve challenges with our customers. Feel free to reach out to us. You will see the contact at the end of the slides. And if you want, if you have a use case, right, and you're working on that, and you see that you want to test AroMigrator out, so you can have you can reach out to us, and we can provide you the AroMigrator depending on your case after evaluation, and you can use and see if that makes sense for your case. If you want to do a POC, or if you want to just play around it and see what advantage you would get out of it, feel free to reach out to us. And yeah, I think with that, I would say we are done with the things that we wanted to present. And the next is the questions and answers.
Thanks a lot, Manon and Carol, for this, super duper, interesting, session, and very good, demo. So let's, as you said, let's open up, for any questions, from the audience. So please raise your hand, and you could, ask your questions. And I have already seen a few questions coming up here. I had one question actually here regarding, how are data integrity and accuracy maintained through the migration process?
It's a good question. So basically, we have been working with RVNS since long. So we know the tool inside out, and the same way now with Codebeamer. So there are 2-3 things that we can do to make sure the accuracy and integrity of data. First being we have a comprehensive reporting. So we can even check the data or monitor the data in the real time. In AroMigrator itself, we see how many items, what kind of items, and what things are going to be migrated. And then at the end, we get a log report or a detailed report of what has happened, what has been migrated, and how was the accuracy. So this is controlled or given by the tool itself as a detailed summary or a report, basically.
Thank you. And we had one question from Daniel as well. You could ask a question, Daniel. You raised your hand. Otherwise, I had another one. Yeah, please go ahead.
No, this is Linda. If Daniel, you could raise your hand again so I can unmute you, sorry.
Yes, please do that. Daniel. I could take one question before there. Is your tool also capable of transferring configurations?
So for the configurations in general, right now we are only considering the data migration. So if you are planning to migrate from RVNS or from IBM DOS NG to Codebeamer, first thing you need to do is to evaluate the system and set up the configurations in the target system, in this case Codebeamer, because we cannot take the configuration like as it is, because new tool we need to improve our processes and see how it best fits. So configuration has to be done prior in the target system before starting the migration right now.
Thank you. Another question also, here from the chat. How many items or requirements can be migrated under 1 minute? How fast is it actually?
So it's a great question. So what we did a benchmarking basically for RVNS, and so what we did is targeting like 160,000. So I don't know right now the 1 minute performance, but we were able to do around 160,000 items in less time. Exact number I need to check, but I can get back to you. But the only thing what we also do is we provide the incremental migration. So for example, if your data is huge, we can do change based loading. That means we load once and that at the end we only load the data from RVNS that has changed. So basically at the end the downtime of the loading will be very less because we could do in an incremental way. But for the exact number, we also prepared, I think I did not show that, a benchmarking slide, but I can let you, I think I did not present it there. We have the numbers for the performance. So maybe I think we need to give the resources that we have for AroMigrator. So we have an ebook and other things there. You can find those things. So maybe we need to see how we can distribute that.
Thanks a lot, man.
But also one thing to add here, that when we talk about the numbers and the measurements of the migration, it highly depends on the case. For example, how many attributes, relationships, and attachments we are migrating. So
yes. Yeah, that's very important because for the benchmark we considered not adding 100 attachment to it, so it was like pure requirements migration with some attributes without complicated relationships. Yeah, good point, Carol.
It makes sense. Good. Another question here, is around, is a Jira to Codebeamer migration possible?
Sorry, what?
For a Jira to Codebeamer migration, is it possible?
Yes, I think it's even easier than RVNS, I would say. So the only thing right now in our tool, we don't have the adapter for Jira. So basically we have the one side, the Codebeamer side already set. So if we have any ALM tool, whether it be Jira or whatever previous ALM tool, what we do is normally we set up an adapter or create an adapter on the source side, which we are talking not about weeks, only couple of days, less than a week to develop that. And rest, everything remains the same. But as of now, we don't have a adapter for Jira.
All right. Another question here was also regarding, can the tool also be utilized internally or on premise, or is it, mandatory to utilize the AroMigrator cloud?
Okay, that's a question that I have heard with customers so often. It's a good question. So the answer is yes, it can be used on-prem. In the beginning, we thought, hey, we will be using AroMigrator cloud because we have set up it like that way that we can do the scalability and it auto scales. But because of the needs of the customers, we realized that people need to have it on-prem. So yes, it can be set up on-prem very easily and can use the existing or local infrastructure. Yes.
Thank you. Another thing, I think, maybe a last question here. Could you elaborate a little bit about the pricing model you are actually using for AroMigration?
Okay, so this we had in the beginning when we introduced the tool. So the plan was that we will be doing the migration because we need to set up and everything, and go through use the tool as an accelerator for ourselves while we are doing the migration. And in recent weeks, what is happening is, because the tool is capable of working, is very intuitive, so people can work themselves. So the question we got, hey, I used to continue using the tool even after the migration for other migration. So what kind of licensing model do you have? And I have to say, right now we are working on the licensing model for that, because we have been using it as an accelerator till now. But now we have so many requests for the licensing, but we don't have yet right now a licensing model.
Thanks a lot for the answer. So time is unfortunately running out here, everyone. So many thanks, Amir, for joining. And of course, a special thanks, Amir, to you, Manan and Carol, for sharing a lot of super duper interesting stuff here. So with that, I hope to see you back after the Easter holidays at the next PTC Talks on the 12th of April for a session about design for service, enhancing product engineering through the digital thread by PTC. So thanks again, everyone. Have a fantastic Easter and a fantastic weekend coming up here. Bye-bye so far.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.